Hey Limitless Nation, today you're in for a real treat. Today you get to learn directly from Michelle Dale. Michelle Dale is a wife, a mother of 3 kids, a virtual assistant thought leader, entrepreneur, and digital nomad. She is the founder of Virtual Miss Friday, an online business operations consultancy and academy with built-in virtual assistant service. Virtual Miss Friday serves a global clientele specializing in online business operations. Michelle is also the creator of One and Sources trademark, a service that specialized in servicing 6- and 7-figure business owners. In addition to this, Michelle also offers a comprehensive online academy with a range of training programs and courses for virtual assistants and digital nomads to guide her clients on every step of their journey. In today's masterclass, you are going to learn from the one and only Virtual Miss Friday, Michelle Dale. Let's dive into it.
Well, before you dive into today's masterclass session, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button below. It allows you to receive notification bell every single time we have uploaded a new video and showing you how to live a limitless life. Now, if you want to dig deeper on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donna Vaughn at huntyourfuture.com. It will show you how you can hunt your future on every aspect of your being. Plus, you're going to receive tips and secrets on what you need to do to tackle your days on a regular basis. Now, let's dive into today's masterclass sessions.
Hey, welcome Michelle Dale.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. It's lovely to be here.
Absolutely, and we're honored to have you here with us. So tell us, is there anything that we did not mention in the bio that you'd like to share with the Limitless Nation?
Well, probably not, but other than that, I'm a very, very down, very real, very honest kind of person. So it's going to be take me as you find me, I think, on this interview, but that's just generally how I am. So
It's the best way to be. I mean, because if you're genuine, you don't have to hide, and it takes away a lot of the stress and anxiety.
yeah, I'm really not an airs and graces kind of.
So, Michelle, here at the Limitless Nation, we have a tradition of starting each and every interview with a limitless quote or mantra or even affirmation. Do you have such an affirmation or quote or mantra that you have embedded into your life on a daily basis?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I'm a mom of 3 and because I run a business and because I also value my personal time a lot as well, I have this mantra I started to use when I was becoming really overwhelmed with life, basically, because I was kind of thrust into being a mom. It wasn't planned or anything like that. So I was constantly telling myself, oh my God, I don't have time to do this. I don't have time to do this. And I wanted to really shift my story around. So I started telling myself on a daily basis, I always have plenty of money and I always have plenty of time to do everything that I need or everything that I want to do. And that's kind of been my mantra since many, many years ago. And it's always stuck with me. So I always have plenty of time and I always have plenty of money. And I think if you can cover those 2 bases with your affirmations, you're pretty much set.
Wow. So by telling yourself you always have plenty of time and you always have plenty of money, you're starting to attract into your life more time or more resources to get more time and money.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think a lot of people have this myth, or they tell themselves this myth time, because they feel like their day is constantly full with everything that needs to be done. But when I coach people, I was talking to somebody who had this same idea. I was like, you've got to take an hour out for yourself in a day. And it's like, oh no, I don't have the time for that. I don't have the time to do that. It's like, no, just take an hour, go for a walk, do that. No, I've got so many things to do, things like that. I was like, okay. I said, if there was 23 hours in a day, would you still get done everything that you needed to get done? And then she's like, oh, I hate you so much. There's 23 hours in a day. Just eliminate 1 hour and you'll still get everything done. And that's kind of how it starts. It's just starting to claim back your power and back your time and make better decisions about your time as well. And like you say, pull on resources and things like that. It's surprising how much time you can claim back and also how many resources in terms of abundance and financial resources you claim back if you just were a little bit smarter about it and you just kept telling yourself that you have the resources, you have the time, you have the money, instead of keep telling yourself that you don't, because all you're going to do is repeat that same pattern. So you've got to change your story.
Absolutely. And by changing that story, it helps you move forward when you do it in a positive way.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Michelle, in your journey so far, what was one huge huge setback or challenge or perhaps even failure that you've had to overcome to get to the limitless life that you're at now?
Well, it's really, really interesting, but I definitely think the pinnacle point for me was losing everything. So I was in a position once where, so I was living in the UK and I had what everyone would consider a great job, and I had, the 4-bedroom house with the double garage and the gravel drive. Like on the surface, everything seemed perfect, but I was working all hours under the sun, was not doing my health any good. I wasn't fulfilled in life, and I was one of these people like literally sitting down waiting for the weekend, and then if I wasn't waiting for the weekend, I was waiting to turn 65 so I could retire or something like that. I mean, that was my life. And then one day I came home from work and I found my front door off the hinges at home, and there was like some of my stuff was in the front garden, and I went inside my house and it had been completely robbed from top to bottom. And I went inside my home office and everything was gone. Like they even took down to my files and my utility bills. It was just like somebody went in and quickly grabbed everything, because I was really organized in my home office, and even my clothes and stuff like that, and they just left. But I looked on my office floor and I found my passport, and that was just like one of those light bulb moments to me. Like, you get one of those like crazy idea moments, like what can I do with this? Like, this is kind of all I've got left. What can I do with it? Well, obviously you can travel. So that was a real turning point for me. It was the point where I went and I lost everything. And this is, when I'm coaching people as well, they say to me like, life is really bad, everything's going bad, and I'm like, you got to celebrate this, because this is the moment where things are going to change. This is the moment, like the worse it gets, the more change you're going to see. And for me, that was the case. So I basically abandoned everything. I put my house on the market. I literally went in the day after that, I went into my job and I quit my job the next day. I gave them a couple of months notice and I went down to the travel agent and I booked a one-way ticket to Egypt exactly 3 months later, the day before my 24th birthday. And I was like, right, my 24th birthday, I'm going to start a new life in a new country. And that's what I did. So for me, it was like my absolute lowest point led me to the absolute best and biggest change in my life.
Wow. That is an intense change almost overnight.
Yeah, it was so fast. But I knew, I didn't tell anyone until I booked the ticket, quit my job. I didn't tell anyone anything. And then basically I just went and because I knew that I would somebody would try and talk me out of it, or I would talk myself out of it. But I was just like, so I've got to do this. I've got to make the decision. I've got to do it. And for sure, it wasn't a very well supported decision, particularly from friends and family and things like that. But I just knew in my heart it was right. And that was a really good lesson for me back then about how important following your heart is, following your instinct and going for what you truly want, not listening to other people so much who are telling you what's going to make you happy. Because I went down that road and it didn't work for me. So I tried something else.
I agree, because you have to, I call it selfish love. You have to be able to love yourself, to go after what you want, as well as to take care of yourself before you can actually help someone out.
That's very, very true, because at the end of the day, a lot of the people who were giving me advice about, this is going to happen and this is going to happen, it's going to go bad and things like that, they've never even stepped out of their own comfort zone, not even once, and it's like, well, what kind of authority are you to tell me this isn't going to work when you've never even done it, you've never tried anything like this before? It's like you have to experience it. You have to experience it for yourself.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Now, Michelle, once you got to Egypt, that must have been a really big culture shock, I'm sure, or it must have been different.
It was totally different. So I've gone from living in the UK, I'm a single girl, I'm in my early 20s, it was a huge culture shock for me, but a brilliant one at the same time. It really gave me time to sort of acquaint myself with who I was. Instead of just being on this perpetual cycle of work and keeping up with the Joneses and trying to fit in and slot into their society and life and things like that. And what happened was when I moved, I had a lot of time, I had a lot of sunshine, 365 days a year sunshine. And I was able to really just be with myself and think really about what I wanted out of life and what made me happy, and gave myself permission to step into that. and live that unapologetically, shall we say. So yeah, it gave me a lot of time to do that, and I was very, very happy that I was able to do that, because not many people have that opportunity. So for me to disconnect myself from what a lot of people were saying is the real world and this isn't the real world and things like that, it's like I realized that may have been the real world to them, but it wasn't my world, and I needed to create my world and my life the way I wanted it to be, and that became like my mission. It became my goal. It didn't matter about how much money I had or my status or what people thought of me or what people thought of what I had or where I lived or anything like that. It just purely became about, when I wake up in the morning, do I want to get up out of bed? Do I want to start my day? Do I want to live my life this way? And to me, that ultimate happiness and being able to step in and say, yes, I'm excited to get up today. I'm excited to see what the day has in store for me. That to me was something that I didn't know until I had gone and done that. So for me, it was a huge transformation.
Yes, it sounds like a huge growing process and leaps and bounds.
And you really can't go back from that. Once you start that process, it's very, very hard to go back and regress into a previous life. And that was really the catalyst to me starting my business.
Right. I can't remember who said it. I want to say it's Winston Churchill, but I don't think so. Basically, once your mind has been stretched, it can never revert back to its original dimensions.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. In my case, that's absolutely true. Yeah.
Right. Now, Michelle, I'm curious, what are you working on now?
Okay.
Hope you enjoyed the masterclass session so far. Before we get into the second half of the session itself, it is very crucial for you to subscribe to my YouTube channel, as I really don't want you to miss out on another masterclass where I'm going to share with you what other expert celebrities, Fortune 5000 companies do to become successful and live a limitless life. So make sure you subscribe right now, and every single time we upload a new video, you will receive a notification bell. This allows you to enjoy the masterclass on the regular basis. So make sure you subscribe right now. Well, as you are ready, let's get into the second half of the masterclass session.
So I actually started my business from Egypt back then. So I would have been 24 years old when I started my business online, and actually started doing virtual assistants. So I provide services online on the internet. Back then in 2005, it wasn't really a very well-known thing. So I was one of the real early people. I was like one of the first virtual assistants online. I was one of the first people doing this whole digital nomad thing before it was even a digital nomad term or phrase, and that sort of came out later, and it was even before things like that. I mean, that's how old I am. That's how long I've been in this game. But what I did is I created my service business. I did really well. I flourished. I was able to continue traveling. I've lived in multiple different countries, and now my primary focus, although I do still provide services to people, my primary focus is teaching people how to recreate what I created for myself that allowed me to live this life. And that's where my real passion is, because my passion has never really been about making money or a business, but my passion for sure is about living the life that you want on your terms. And an online business really ticks a lot of the boxes for a lot of people, because they want to be location independent, they want to be able to live and work wherever they want to, they want to be able to choose their own hours. If they're a mom, they want to stay at home with their kids, and I've lived all this stuff, and I know how valuable that is. It's not necessarily the monetary value, but the value of the life. So now what I do is I teach people how to create online businesses, whether they want to go after the money or whether they want to go after, sometimes people want to go after fame and be really well known, and sometimes people just want to go after having some time at home with their kids, and some people just want to be able to make money and travel, So whatever it is, whatever someone's design of their life is, usually there's an online business model which will fit in with that. So my focus now is to find the online business model that's really going to fit well with them, and then help them start that business and grow that business so they can actually achieve the life that they want to achieve.
Right. So what you're saying that online businesses can help people make that business fit into the lifestyle that they want, rather than getting a job and putting their lifestyle into that small job.
Absolutely. Because for me, I always do everything like weird anyway in reverse. But like for me, it was always like choose the lifestyle that you want, and then choose a way of making money that fits in with that, not the other way around. Don't say you're going to start the business, you're going to make money, and then you're going to have the life that you want. because, you know, it's like that could be a really long drawn out process. Your attention span on that could really dwindle after a while, and especially if you're not living it. So usually I say start the lifestyle, you know, like move into the lifestyle, and then let's find a business model that fits in with this that will allow you to continue living that lifestyle. So that's where I'm kind of at right now, whether that be selling digital products or providing services online, because there's multiple different models that you can follow. But usually there's an online business model, and that's why I love online business so much. There's an online fit in pretty much with anybody's desires for how they want to design their life.
I completely agree. Now, Michelle, where can our viewers and listeners go to learn more about your business model, as well as just to connect with you there?
Okay, so they can go to my website, which is www.virtualmissfriday.com. That's VIRTUAL, virtual, miss, MISS, and then Friday, FRIDAY.com. So that's my website, but you can also connect with me channels. So if you go onto my website, at the bottom is all my social icons, but you can go on Instagram, and then but Instagram.com/virtualmissfriday or Facebook.com/VMFLTD. Be able to connect with me there through the social channels.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, Michelle, with you having all of this extra time from your teaching and informing others on how to live their limitless life, what are some habits that you have adapted into your life that help you maintain this limitless life and allows you to do everything that you desire?
Okay. Well, I would say the very first thing, or the biggest thing that people can start doing, is prioritizing themselves. And this is a huge thing for people because I know it's so hard. A lot of people are like, no, I can't do that. But prioritizing yourself is the absolute best thing that you can do in terms of increasing income, becoming a better parent or mother or father, wife, spouse, whatever it is, it's friend, it's the best thing that you could possibly do. So for me, the way I prioritize myself is usually in the mornings, and kind of like first thing in the morning, I was one of these people, check their email, check their phone, like just basically wake up and then give themselves to other people, you know, whatever that is. So even if that's as a mother, you know, like wake up, immediately roll out of bed, get the kids ready for school and things like that. So what I'm suggesting to people is like take a little bit of time. So either get up a little bit earlier than the children, or if you have time in the morning, you don't have kids, just first of all devote some time to yourself and do something for yourself that is like affirmations. It is a good positive start to the day. And I think if you can always start your day in a positive way, I think that will help train you and get you in the habit seeing things more optimistically. And the more optimistic you will become, the better you're on that. So I do a little bit of journaling. So I always do like my gratitude journal in the morning. I write down things that I'm really grateful for. Mostly from the previous day. So I think about yesterday, and I think about like, what was I really grateful for yesterday? What happened yesterday that made me happy? Or what was I proud of myself for? Or something like that. You know, it could be something as simple as, you know, like somebody smiled at me and it made me feel good. Or it could be something like watching my kid play, or anything like that. Or a phone call I had with a client and they were really happy or something. So I always think about gratitude first. I also journal about my goals. So I have my goals all written out, everything that I want to be, the person I want to be, the things I want to achieve. And every day, religiously, I read it in the morning, first thing. So I know I'm on, this is my page, this is where I'm heading, this is what I'm going for, this is my reason why I've got to have a really good day today, because this is the thing that I'm wanting to achieve and what I'm focusing on. So I do my journaling, I read my goals, and then either I will do something like for myself. So I'll make like a fresh juice, or I'll go for a walk, or I'll do something that inspires me. I might watch some YouTube videos, like motivational talks. I watch a lot of TED Talks and things like that, just to kind of give me some inspiration to start the day. And that's kind of what I do for myself in the morning. And yeah, it's like an hour out of your day. So I would say to anyone, give yourself an hour out of your day, every single day. I don't care how busy you are. I don't care how many responsibilities you have. I've got 3 kids myself. I know what it's like. I run a business. I've got all these things going on that I know that if I can't give myself an hour a day, how am I going to ever expand into the dreams that I want to achieve if I simply can't give myself an hour a day? So try to think of it like that and try to prioritize yourself.
I agree. You said it so well. I agree completely with everything that you just said. You have to prioritize yourself to be able to essentially function and maintain that high level that you operate at.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's like the most successful people. If you look, I mean, I've studied entrepreneurs a lot online. I've watched a lot of videos. I've taken a lot of input in from successful people, because that's how we learn about how to be successful. We think like, well, what are these people doing? How how they're becoming successful. Honestly, majority of them, you'll find somewhere in their what does it take to be successful, they prioritize themselves, they took care of themselves, whether it be health, relationships, career, or all these different areas. They put themselves first in these areas in order to be able to perform at their optimal level. If you can perform at your optimal level, then you're going to get to where you want to be much.
I agree. Now, Michelle, with you performing at your optimal level, what is one resource that you can really tap into that has helped you reach this level in your journey so far?
Okay, I'm probably going to share a little bit of an unusual resource, because I know a lot of people do sort of like, you know, like the average books. Like, I mean, obviously, like I've read books like The Science of Getting Rich and things like that. So you probably have like all those, but there is one book that I read that really sort of, it's a little bit out there, but it really impacted me. And it's a book that I read called The Nature of Personal Reality. And it's by a lady called Jane Roberts. So you can go and check that book out. But it's really a very interesting book. It has a lot of interesting concepts and ideas of how you can change your life and how you can do it on a more spiritual level, sort of connect with yourself on a more spiritual level to start making the changes from there instead of, you know, other places. So I've got, I mean, I love practical stuff. I'm a typical Taurus, you know, like I'm really down to earth, really practical and things like that. All of that practical stuff has been done. So if you want to start looking in other areas, thinking to yourself, okay, well, I'm doing all the steps. I'm doing A, doing B, I'm taking this, I'm writing the lists, I'm doing the tasks and things like that, but you're still not quite where you want to be. I would say go ahead and read this book and start implementing some of the things inside the book. It's called The Nature of Personal Reality by Jane Roberts.
Nature of Your Personal Reality. Interesting title. Sounds very intriguing.
Yeah, it is. It's definitely a very spiritually kind of book, but it has a lot of practical sort of ways to implement things as well and implement changes in your life and thought patterns and beliefs and structures around there, which all contribute to the success that we have just generally.
Okay. Now, Michelle, with you being a teacher, essentially teaching other people how to live their limitless life and get to that online world that they want to have in their life, what is a bit of advice that you received when you first started out that you can pass on to our viewers and listeners?
Well, it's interesting because I actually didn't receive any advice when I was starting out because everyone thought I was crazy and no one was doing what I was doing, no mentor and things like that. But I can say that, you know, like if I'm going to talk from personal experience and learning the hard way through a lot of trial and error is, I would say the first thing is don't worry too much about whether it's going to work or not. Okay, so you've got to learn to follow your instinct, and there are never any guarantees in everything. But the most important thing is that you try something and you win. If you try, you win, whether it works or whether it doesn't work. Because if it works, then fantastic, you've gone and done it. If it doesn't work, you've learned what doesn't work, and then you can adjust it and change it, and you can try again and do things differently, and eventually it'll come good. So I would say don't get so bogged down with the guarantee that something is going to work if you try it. The most important thing is, does this feel right to me? Do I think it's going to work? You know, like, am I listening to myself? Am I following my best judgment here? Not about other people, whether they say it's going to work or not, but yeah. Am I going to try this? Does it feel right to me? And whether it works or whether it doesn't work, don't worry about it because you will still win either way. It's still a win situation. And a lot of people end up in this paralysis, I think, of never moving forward and never getting to where they want to be because they want this. I'm not going to take that first step unless I know it's going to work, or I know I'm going to make that money, or I know I'm going to get that client, or I know that, you know, like this isn't going to be all for nothing. But if you want to succeed in life, you have to let go of that idealistic idea of how everything's going to be and how everything's going to take that step and move forward. And some of the most extraordinary things in my life happened from my biggest failures or my biggest mistakes and things like that. So you really have to look at it that way, that the universe is on your side. So if you truly want something and you've got the best intentions for it, and it's for growth, it's for expansion, it's for the good of mankind, you know, just know that somehow it will always work out, whether it's exactly how you think it will or it's slightly different, but it will work.
I agree with everything that you just said. The universe is on your side. You have to believe that you're going to achieve whatever it is that you set out to do, but then you also have to take imperfect action and keep moving forward in order to make things happen.
It's absolutely essential. Otherwise, you're going to end up just stuck in this paralysis and never moving forward, because there will never be that guarantee. Nothing is guaranteed in life, only maybe death and taxes.
Right.
Everything else is a little bit flexible.
That is true. That is true. That's original. I have not thought of that before. Now, Michelle, if you had to take a step back and re-examine your journey so far and say go back to that challenging spot, although I think we talked about it a little bit, what would you have told yourself then that you wish you would have known?
This is a really hard question, because I think there's probably quite a lot of things, but I think there is one probably main thing, and again, this comes from age and experience, is that don't be in a hurry. Don't, like, for sure, you have to live every day like it's your last day on earth, and I totally agree with that, but life doesn't always dish that out for us. But when I was younger, I was in a hurry a lot of hurry to get the job and to have the family and to get, the boyfriend or the girlfriend or whatever. It's like we're on this constant cycle of this is what I need to do, and I'm on this timeline in order to do it, and this is how life should be, and I'm not at that stage right now, and I'm not here, and I'm not here. And throw the timeline in the bin and do things on your own time, and don't push yourself or make wrong decisions because you feel like that's the point in your life where you should be doing this. So I should have a better career by now, or I should have this, or I should have that, or I should have a home by now, because that will just put you under a lot of pressure, and generally you can't take any of that stuff with you. There's one way in and there's one way out, and you ain't taking anything with you. So don't be in so much of a hurry in life, and don't feel that constant pressure like you should be here, you should be there, you should have done this, you should have done that, because you're just like shooting all over yourself all the time. So take life at your own pace. When you feel things are right, go for it, and don't rush things.
I agree. You need to learn to at times take a Zen approach and be able to take a deep breath, as you said, take at least 1 hour a day to maintain yourself so you can operate at that level of excellence that you want to operate at, and then go out and make it happen, but at the same time enjoy the journey, not so much the one spot of the end result.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think if you focus too much on the it's important to focus on the big, on the outcome, but it's not important to force it necessarily. You have to let it happen a lot more naturally. What's right, the timing that's right for one person is not necessarily the timing that's right for you. So take it in your own natural, organic timing. And just know that that's the right thing.
I agree. Michelle, how can the Limitless Nation viewers and listeners get in contact with you to learn more about your business, to learn more about what you have going on, and to still be involved and connect with you, as well as just learn more about your online instructors training videos?
Okay, so a really good way to connect with me is to join my mailing list. And I also have a lot of free stuff that I give out on my mailing list as well. So if you go to www.virtualmissfriday.com, same address as earlier, but if you do /academy, so /ACADEMY, you'll be taken to a landing page where you can put your name and email in, and there are free training videos behind now, so you can start choosing your perfect online business from those free training videos. And there's also various other ways to connect with me and be connected on email, and I have fantastic customer support. I'm a real true believer and true fan of customer support and connecting and interacting with people. So once you're on the mailing list, you'll have access to the email address, and you'll be able to come and reply and write in and ask questions, and that's a really, really good way to connect with me and the people on my team as well, and also get that free training, which I think is really, really helpful for people, especially if they're not quite sure. I like the idea of an online business, I like the idea of the concept of it, but where do I go? These are my talents, what should I be doing, and things like that. So that's a really good place to start.
Thank you very, very much for your time, Michelle Dale.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. I'm sure that the Limitless Nation has been inspired by your story. I know that my mind is blown by some of the simple things that you've had to say that just blow my mind. It's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
Well, until next time, this is Donovan saying, stay limitless.
Well, that's a wrap. Please make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking on the word subscribe. And if you want to go deeper on learning on what you need to do to hunt your future, make sure you watch the interview that I've done with Donovan on what you need to do to hunt your future on every aspect of your being. This allows you to live a limitless life on every aspect of your life, starting from today's forward. Plus, you are going to receive tips and tricks on what you need to do to tackle your day, tackle your challenges on every situation, every single time. So go ahead and download it right now, and until then, stay limitless forever.